The fluorescent lights of Mercy Heights Medical Center's executive wing hummed their usual monotonous tune as I signed off on the quarterly budget report. As CEO, I'd built this hospital into one of the nation's finest over the past decade. But nothing, no board meeting, no medical crisis, no financial emergency could have prepared me for what was about to shatter my entire world. My phone buzzed. Dr. Patricia Caldwell, head of oncology. My heart sank. Mr. Bennett, you need to come to the ICU. It's Rachel. She's asking for you. I was already running. Rachel looked impossibly small in that hospital bed, drowning in white sheets and the tangle of IV lines. My wife of 15 years. The woman who'd stood beside me through medical school, residency, and my climb to CEO, now fighting stage 4 pancreatic cancer that had spread faster than anyone anticipated. Her blue eyes, once so vibrant, found mine as I entered. "David," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the steady beep of monitors. I took her hand, careful not to disturb the IV. "I'm here, sweetheart. Save your strength." "No." She squeezed my fingers with surprising intensity. "I need to tell you something before it's too late." A chill ran down my spine. "Rachel, whatever it is, Logan isn't our biological son." The world stopped. The monitors, the distant hospital sounds, my own heartbeat, everything went silent. "What?" The word came out strangled. Tears streamed down her gaunt cheeks. 14 years ago, when I gave birth, I was hemorrhaging badly. I was terrified, delirious. When the nurse brought me a baby boy, I saw another mother in the recovery room. She looked so peaceful, so perfect. Her baby was crying in the nursery while the baby they said was mine, seemed so calm. My legs felt weak. I sank into the chair beside her bed. I convinced myself that there had been a mistake. She continued, her voice breaking, that my baby, our baby, had been given to her. So I switched the identification bands. I told myself I was fixing an error, but David, I knew, deep down I knew what I was doing. I sat frozen, unable to process her words. Logan, our son, the brilliant 14-year-old who wanted to be a neurosurgeon, like his old man had been, the kid who had my smile but Rachel's artistic soul, the center of our universe. Why? It was all I could manage. I was scared, irrational, the hormones, the blood loss, the fear. I wasn't thinking clearly. And then time passed. Days became weeks, weeks became months. How could I undo it? How could I tear apart two families? So I buried it. I convinced myself it didn't matter, that love makes a family, not biology. And the other family? My voice sounded foreign to my own ears. The Morgans. Jennifer and Thomas Morgan. They moved to Seattle when their son, our biological son, was 2. I've followed them on social media all these years. His name is Blake. He's a good kid, David. He plays guitar, makes honor roll. They're good people. I stood abruptly, the chair scraping against the linoleum. You've been watching our biological son for 12 years and never told me. I was ashamed. I was terrified. Her monitors beeped faster as her heart rate spiked. Every day I wanted to tell you, but every day that passed made it harder. How do you confess something like this? How do you destroy everything? I wanted to rage, to scream, to demand answers that made sense. But looking at her frail form, knowing she had weeks, maybe days left, the anger dissolved into something more complicated, grief, confusion, a love that somehow persisted despite this devastating revelation. Does Logan know? I asked quietly. She shook her head. No one knows, just you. And now, I need you to decide what to do with this truth. I spent the next hour walking the hospital corridors I knew so well, past the emergency department where I'd done my residency, through the pediatric wing we'd renovated last year, along the windowed hallway, overlooking the staff parking lot where Rachel and I used to meet for lunch when we were both young doctors with dreams bigger than our paychecks. My phone rang. Dr. Malcolm Price, Chief of Pediatrics and my oldest friend. David, I heard Rachel took a turn. I'm sorry, man. How are you holding up? Malcolm, can you meet me in my office? I need to talk to someone. 20 minutes later, I'd told him everything. Malcolm sat across from my desk, his usually jovial face grave. God, David, I don't even know what to say. Should I tell Logan? Should I contact the Morgans? Rachel has maybe 2 weeks left. What's the right call here? Malcolm leaned forward. There is no right call. But you know what? You're one of the most ethical men I know. You'll figure it out. And whatever you decide, I've got your back. That night I sat in Logan's room while he slept. 14 years old, sandy blonde hair falling across his forehead, the gentle rise and fall of his chest. My son, the boy I'd taught to ride a bike, helped with algebra homework, cheered for at every soccer game. Biology didn't make him mine, love did. Midnight feedings and science fair projects and conversations about life and death and everything in between, that's what made him my son. But somewhere in Seattle, another boy existed. A boy with my DNA, my genetic predisposition to heart disease, my family's history of diabetes. A boy who deserved to know his medical history. A boy who was, genetically speaking, my son. I returned to the ICU around 2 a.m. Rachel was awake, staring at the ceiling. I've been thinking, I said softly, pulling the chair close. We need to contact the Morgans. Not for custody, not to upend anyone's life. But they deserve to know the truth. Blake deserves to know his real medical history. And Logan deserves the same. Fresh tears rolled down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, David, I've ruined everything. I took her hand. You made a terrible mistake in a moment of fear and trauma. But you've been an incredible mother to Logan. That counts for something. Dr. Caldwell had given Rachel a week, maybe 2. I worked fast. Finding the Morgans was easy. I was the CEO of a hospital with resources. Getting them to believe me was harder. It took DNA tests, hospital records, and a video call where Rachel, weak but determined, confirmed everything. 4 days later, Jennifer and Thomas Morgan walked into my hospital office with their son, Blake. The resemblance hit me like a physical blow. He had my nose, my jawline, my gray-green eyes that Rachel used to say looked like storm clouds. Mr. Bennett, Jennifer said, her voice shaking. She was petite with red hair and kind eyes swollen from crying. We don't know what to say. This whole situation... I know. Believe me, I know. I gestured to the chairs. Please sit. Blake sat between his parents, looking terrified and curious in equal measure. 14 years old, wearing a Seattle Mariners cap. His fingers nervously tapping, his knee, a habit I recognized from my own anxious moments. Thomas, a tall man with graying hair and a contractor's weathered hands, spoke first. We're not here to take anything from you. Blake is our son. We raised him, but we thought he deserved to meet you, and we wanted to see Rachel if she's able. She is, I said. She's weak but lucid. She wants to apologize to you herself. The hardest conversation of my life was sitting Logan down that evening in the hospital's private family consultation room. Dad, what's going on? Why are we meeting in your hospital office? Logan's brown eyes, Rachel's eyes, searched my face. I told him everything, slowly, carefully, watching his world reshape itself with every word. So, you're not my biological father? His voice cracked. Biology doesn't determine fatherhood. Logan, I'm your dad in every way that matters. But yes, genetically you're Jennifer and Thomas's son, and they have a boy, Blake, who is biologically mine and your mother's. Does this mean, do they want me back? My heart shattered. No, son, no, you're my kid. You're staying right here. But I thought you deserved to know the truth, and to meet them if you want to. He was quiet for a long moment. Is Mom going to die? Yes, I said honestly. Probably within the week. Then I want to meet them. And I want to tell Mom, I want her to know I'm not mad at her. The meeting in Rachel's ICU room was surreal. 2 couples, 2 sons, all connected by a desperate mistake made 14 years ago. Rachel wept as she apologized to the Morgans. Jennifer, showing remarkable grace, held her hand. You gave us Blake. He's been the light of our lives. I can't say I understand what you did, but I can see your suffering. I forgive you. Logan and Blake sat awkwardly at first, these mirror image brothers who'd grown up in different worlds. But then Blake mentioned he played guitar, and Logan's eyes lit up. He'd been teaching himself drums. Maybe we could jam sometime, Blake offered tentatively. Yeah, that'd be cool. And just like that, a bridge formed. Rachel passed away 6 days later with Logan and me at her bedside. Her last words were, "Love him, David. Love them both if you can." The Morgans stayed in town for the funeral. At the reception in the hospital's conference center, Rachel had spent so much of her life here. It felt right. I watched Logan and Blake talk quietly in the corner, two boys processing an impossible situation together. Jennifer approached me. "Thomas and I have been talking. We're not trying to replace you, but maybe Blake could visit sometimes. And Logan could come to Seattle. We could try to blend these families somehow. For the boys' sake." I looked at Blake, this boy who carried my genes but not my memories. Then at Logan, who carried my memories but not my genes. And I realized Rachel had been right about one thing. Love makes a family. "I'd like that," I said. "I'd really like that." I stood in the hospital's newly renovated pediatric wing, watching the dedication ceremony for the Rachel Bennett Memorial Maternity Ward, a state-of-the-art facility with safeguards and protocols to ensure what happened to us could never happen again. Logan stood beside me in his suit, looking more grown up than any 14-year-old should. Next to him, Blake, visiting for spring break. The boys had become close, calling each other weekly, planning summer trips. "You okay, Dad?" Logan asked. I smiled. "Yes, son, I am, because that's what I'd learned through this nightmare. Family isn't about DNA or biology or perfect circumstances. It's about showing up, choosing love, and finding grace in impossible situations." I was the CEO of the hospital, where my dying wife confessed she'd switched our son at birth. But more importantly, I was a father to two remarkable boys who taught me that the capacity for love is far greater than the boundaries of blood. And as I cut the ribbon on Rachel's memorial, I knew she was finally at peace, having given me the most painful gift imaginable, the truth and the chance to build something beautiful from the wreckage.